Walking now back to swapping halves as they cross the path of the Otara Scorpions on screen. And what do you think the chat would have been at half-time, mate?
Look, I think Otara would certainly be fairly happy with their first half performance, but they let themselves down a little bit late in the piece there with some poor errors. And I think, well, for Bay Roskill, defended really well, soaked up a lot of pressure, and took their chances when they had it. So I think, on the whole, probably both teams feeling pretty positive. It's going to be an interesting second half, but boy, it's been an exciting game, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been some fantastic tries, hasn't there? Just the way that they've executed, and I think, you know, if we're having the count-off in the Olympic game diving sport number, we'd certainly rank the last try in at probably a nice 8 or 9 as he dived over and completely passed the defender and dived into the end goal. So great to see some good football down here. It's been really entertaining, and we can't be that far away before kick-off starts. Otara still having the chat over there with their coaching crew. And I think a lot of the chat too will be around completing their sets of 6, you know. I don't think that we would have seen that many in the first half, mate.
No. No, that's right. It's certainly been an interesting game, and both teams, boy, they've got some talent on the edges of the field. To see for Bay Roskill, the real standouts in that first half. I thought John O'Ware was fantastic in that opening stint, the dummy half for the Bay Roskill Vikings.
Yeah, I like what he's doing, mate. He's certainly speeding them up around the dummy half period.
Yeah, really set the tone, didn't he? And of course at the back, Corey Vogel, pretty solid, positioned himself nicely. And in the middle of the park, with plenty of big bodies there doing some good work for the Scorpions. Halves have been good, controlling things really well.
Sorry, mate, look like the referee's having a bit of a conversation there and getting some guidance from the coaching staff as we get ready now to address the next 40.
1 minute. 1 minute.
And once again, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away after this match. We are live streaming the SAS Fox Memorial, and you'll find that link on the aucklandleague.co.nz site. So for all the Sharman Cup watchers, don't go far off. If you want another game of rugby league, you'll find that on the website, and all they have to do is click through. And understand you've got a text alert piece that they can talk to as well, Corey?
Absolutely, yes. So click to sign up for text alerts. You'll receive a text message 5 minutes before any live stream game kicks off. All part of the new digital package being offered by the Auckland Rugby League this year.
And we do it specifically 5 minutes beforehand so that you can tell your wife that you have to go down the road to do a job.
So the Otara Scorpions preparing to get us back underway. It'll be Bay Roskill with first use of the ball. Bay Roskill scoring late in that first half to take the lead.
All right, boys, here we go. Time your run.
Back underway we go off the boot of Max Lehman. Huge carry forward there, but credit to Blucher, who was up to task, met him up top.
I think we're going to see a wee bit of vigour in the next 40, Corey.
If the opening 2 hit-ups or anything to go by, absolutely. Come out. Good yardage on offering early here for Bay Roskill. Henry. Little dink over the top. Turns them around. And Tally Nanai Saturo with a little bit of work to do here. Brings it out nicely though. Telly, the older brother of Etani Nanai Saturo, who of course hit the headlines earlier this year when he left his New Zealand Warriors contract and headed over to Rugby Sevens. So talented family, certainly very athletically gifted, as Henry now breaks through. Great carry from the Scorpions #1, who cops a bit of a facial on the ground there for his troubles. Ball spun out the back now. Lehman, looping kick up over the top. It's a good kick. It's close to a 40-20, this one. It's going to go right up to the sideline. Vogel's kept it in. That's got to be a knock-on. So a brilliant kick there from Max Lehman. It was going to be a 40-20. I think it's probably going to come back for a knock-on in the end there, but the end result was if Vogel doesn't touch that, it is out So all credit there to the little number 7 there, Troy. Great vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And nice little touch on the ball. And that certainly peels off a few metres as the Scorpions march down into the Vikings territory as we get ready now for the scrum to set.
Bring him back to the line, mate. Scrum's in 20.
A couple of Harleys in the background there, so we've got a few of the boys out supporting their team today.
Got to have 1 foot on the line, boys. Over here, boys.
Yeah, exciting stuff going on at the Otara Scorpions. Of course, the rebuild out at Ngāti Otara Park, which is going to be pretty cool, encompassing a whole lot of different sports and community groups.
Hold up. Hold
Go
up.
back and pack down that scrum
Hold
again.
up. Go down again. You need to watch
Interesting
me.
having Dean Hunter back involved as well, Troy. He coached them in 1999, so a real throwback to, I guess, past successes there, bringing Dean Hunter back into the club. Certainly spoke very positively of everyone involved. As Lehman now takes it to the line. Lehman now, he's stood them up with footwork. That is beautiful work. A minute on from his 40-20 kick. The little number 7 says, I'll get the try as well, boys. And it's just individual brilliance. The footwork, let's take a look on the replay. Straight out from the scrum. Lehman gets it. It's a staggered line. Steps once, steps twice. And then from there, the pace to finish it off. So lovely work there from Max Lehman.
Yeah, too easy, that one.
Yeah, they'll be more than happy with that. And I'm not going to talk anything about conversion kicking and being in front of the goal, Corey.
No, you just turn your microphone off for the next 30 seconds or so, I think, for the sake of our kicker, Lehman. Of course, if you have just joined us, Troy called what was a gimme kick in the first half, which was pushed wide to the right of the upright. So I'll happily...
There's no need to labour that, Corey. There's no need to go on and on and on.
I'll happily get rid of my tag as the commentator, Curse King.
Here we go.
But Lehman now to attempt this one just to the left of the uprights.
Holding. Holding. Here he comes, boys. Walk it in. Walk it in. Ball coming. And yes, up.
Good off the boot, and it's over. So the Scorpions back in control. They take a 2-point lead 4 minutes into the second half here of this round 3 Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup match, taking on the top of the table Bay Roskill Vikings.
At the half-time break, managed to catch up with a couple of the Northcote boys. They're in town now, so all of the players are certainly starting to arrive for the big match at 2:30 today. Corey, the SAS Fox Memorial kicking off. Find that link on aucklandleague.co.nz. Back to the action.
Big carry forward there, and someone's in trouble in back play. That's a nasty collision there, and the player's quick to rush in and show some concern there because it looked like he may have been knocked out before he even hit the ground there. So there's some real problems there, and I'm not too sure, didn't quite catch the number. I think it may have been Chioneth Henry who has gone down. But it was indeed a nasty one. Great to see the Scorpion boys in there as well, showing a helping hand and some concern for their opponent.
Yeah, it's been great camaraderie. Is that the word I'm looking for, Corey?
It is
Between the two
indeed.
teams. They must have a couple of mates in both camps. And as you said, you know, massive concern there. Looks like he's trying to shake it.
He wants to stay on the field, but I dare say it's a tough ask to stay on the field after that incident. So he'll go off and get the necessary checks, and that may be all we see from him today. Of course, these days, player safety is at the paramount. It's the way it should be.
One thing I've noticed in this Sharman Cup game is how many guys are actually wearing headgear. Have you seen, you know, both teams are supporting the
You're right,
the old Nongan gear. So the big fella gets ready to play the ball.
If it works for Jonathan Thurston, that's good enough for me. Of course, a number of players in the NRL now as well wearing headgear. A number who have suffered from bad runs of concussion over the last few years as well. Such a huge issue in the game these days. Back into it they go now. Good carry forward there by Paulo. Just as I say that, a mistake on halfway.
And for all the young viewers, you know, not just headgear, but definitely, you know, boys, ladies, girls, if you're taking the field, play with a mouth guard. You know, that's one of the key things that you need to be going onto the field when you cross the white line, is that make sure you've got a mouth guard and you're all set, ready to go.
And of course, at our premiership level in the Auckland Rugby League, if you are caught without a mouth guard, you go and sit it out. It's that simple. It's a necessity of the game. Such an important thing for safety. As Bay Roskill now spread the ball out towards the right edge. Little duck back inside there by Tafutu. Nice. Brings his opposite winger, Tunga Afasi, into the action now. Little show and go from Henry. Pops the ball out the back door now. They hanged it off. Second phase, a feature of this Bay Roskill game. Henry to Ongi. Ongi plays short at the line. It's picked off. Luckily, Jerome Mamia was there, because otherwise they were all of a sudden in a whole lot of trouble. Died out of dummy half now via Paya. 26-year-old, a drain layer by trade. They get the penalty at the end of it as well, so a quick turnaround there, a quick change of fortunes. Back towards the middle of the park now. Paulo. They're going to get a penalty at the end of it.
Yeah, not the place you want to give one away, is it? Bit of a conversation about what it is that they are going to do.
Regan Tierra now straight back into it. Centralizes play towards the middle of the post. Here come the Scorpions. Ulu. Goes one out.
One big one out.
Pomari at the line to Blucher. Blucher looking for the second phase. Wrapped up well, though, by Bay Roskill to get him to ground. Spin him around as well to ensure that slow play the ball. Ulu. Hands it off to Poimatangi, who's going to go close. Referee points to the spot, and he goes all the way there. He's had a fantastic game since coming off the bench, Spencer Poimatangi.
Let's have another quick look at that if we can. And you're right, it was a good carry there. Swapped the dummy halves. Showed a lot of good leg drive and carried half the pack over with him.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
right.
managed to get to the paint line.
Great leg drive there from young Spencer Poimatangi, 18-year-old. He's a Papakura Seagulls junior who spent some time with the Otahu Leopards as well. Certainly making his mark on this game off the pine. Very much the junior on that Scorpions bench, with a 26-year-old, a 28-year-old and a 33-year-old sitting on the pine with him.
Yeah, the halves have been really good, for Otara Scorpions today.
Have indeed, yeah. Fairly, well, certainly dwarfing the Bay Roskill halves in terms of experience when you've got Max Lehman, who's 32 years of age, and Maui Pomari, who's 26. So yeah. Lehman strikes it, and it's off the post and away, so...
Yeah, those couple of kicks, and I know we say this every time, especially when they're converting in front of the uprights, will those points come back to haunt us at the end of the game?
Big shout out to our women's and girls teams who are taking the field this weekend as well. Of course, the age grade competitions, the new one, the under 13 for girls, joining the under 15s and under 17s comp, as well as the Farrelly Photos Women's Premiership. Seen some excellent games in that so far. Troy, yourself and I, we got out to Otahu the other day to watch some of the action out there. Some really talented player there, and I guess one of the only places in New Zealand sport where you can still go down to your local park and watch internationals
Absolutely.
play for free.
Yep, and they certainly know how to play, and they don't shy away from the big hits in that competition. We'd actually popped down there to see Savannah play, but that didn't eventuate, and hopefully one day we'll actually get to see her play rather than run the line.
So Uluulu jumps in a dummy half now, goes short side to Pomari, who dinks a little kick in over the top. They're chasing hard here, the Scorpions. Takes a kind bounce for Vogel, who is swamped. 5 metres out from the line now. Well taken in the end by Vogel. But look at this defence from the Scorpions. They're turning it up now. Ware hands it off. They need a big carry to the Vikings.
Vikings still trying to get back in onside, mate. They're taking far too much time.
Vogel says, I'll come in for some work, but they're making hardly any yardage here. They're going to end up kicking from well inside their own half. Weir spins it out now. Mamia gets a long kick, and that's a good result considering the set they just had. Henry forced to turn around, looks up and sees the swarm of black, gets back into it. Vogel leading the kick chase there for the Vikings, so a decent result. But the Scorpions, boy, their defensive intensity there, Troy, super impressive.
Absolutely. And Vikings really need now to step up. You know, they were a wee bit slow coming out of their half. And got to show a wee bit of vigour, a wee bit of energy, especially on the defence line now, because they're just starting to get the feel that the Scorpions are getting a rhythm on, getting a roll on, I should say. Here they come again.
Tierra plays out the line. 40 out. Lehman tucks under the wing, goes, ball spilt loose. Is that a knock on? It is indeed. So they come up with the error. Right on halfway.
Taking a little bit of time to set the scrum here, of course.
Dare say, just enjoying the rest. A few of the big boys blowing pretty hard out there. 13 minutes into the second half. Ongi. Still going there, Ongi.
They go a little high.
Yeah, did indeed. They get the penalty at the end of it.
Quick tap and go.
Mackenzie Cutter. 25-year-old Bay Junior. Ware. Hands off to Williams. Another penalty, so they're stacking up now, and they've got to be careful here, Otara. Henry plays short at the line. Cutter, Mackenzie Cutter. Very close to the line now. Ware jumps into dummy half, spins it out the back door. Chioneth Henry, he's going to go over. That is clever play there from the dummy half. Jono Ware, the presence of mind to just spin that ball out the back door there, and then from there, Chioneth Henry finishes. Starts with the carry from Cutter, doesn't it, Troy? It's a big, strong carry,
Yeah,
gets to his feet.
He just about did it himself, didn't he?
But you can see here, clever from Ware. A simple one would have been to come up to this right edge here. Shapes that way. Instead, goes to Henry, who's just got enough, little step, little bit of power, and over he goes. Great work for Bay Roskill.
Nice little try. As we wait for the kick to come, the live stream being brought to you by our live stream partners, Ctas. And it's being beamed around the world, not just here in Auckland, the Auckland region, and around New Zealand, but also I'd like to welcome in all the rugby league fans around the South Pacific Islands. Flags are up, another 2 points. And we're back to a 20-all game. So it's actually been quite a little arm wrestle as we were down into 55 minutes, thereabouts.
It's building nicely for an exciting final 20 minutes now. Lehman gets us back underway here in the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup game. They spin it out the back door, straight back into the tough stuff. Ware wants a quick play the ball. They come back out towards this right edge now. Tafotu. Kick from Kelly. It's called inside. It's going to hold up. Just go dead. No, it's not. It's a beautiful kick. Fantastic work. The chase is just as good. And they trap him. 5 metres out from his line now. Good little dart there by Henry, who's been solid at the back for Otara. Up in the air there, and they're going to say put into a dangerous position. Doesn't matter if you finish it off or not. If he's put in the dangerous position, that's where the problem is. And so the Scorpions will get a penalty here. And are relieving one as well after a very good set from the Bay Roskill Vikings.
Ball coming right towards our camera.
So the tap and go, we're back underway. Nanai Matamua hands it off.
Ooh, has he seen it? He has. It was right in front of us. Vikings are celebrating.
So an unfortunate error there just as they were sort of starting to put something together.
And both sides have been guilty of that today, Corey. Oh, bit of conversation. No, I want you to go to the second row. Don't come up to the front.
So Henry retrieves out the back of the scrum, hands it off to Ongi. Ongi fighting for that quick play. The ball now back on towards the middle of the park. Mackenzie Cutter, the biggest man on the park, has had some telling carries. Tries to get the penalty there, nothing forthcoming. Ware spins it off. Mamia to the line now. Was that touched by Otara? Into some open space here now. Needs to get to ground quickly and remain in the field of play. Mamia. Vogel dances. We called back for an infringement here. I think it may be a forward pass. So now Bay Roskill's turn to let Otara off the hook. A couple of errors each way here. Just stalling what has been a free-flowing, fairly high-scoring game, I dare say, Troy.
Yeah, it's been good to see that no one's actually got away from, each other. They've been within 4-2 points. There's been a couple of kicks that have gone astray, and I think we said that in the first half, and 2 of them were for, I think, Otara, from memory, is whether that'll come back to haunt them. But that said, we're 20 all, we're locked up, and there's another error.
Play on's going to be the call, so they've got away with one there, potentially.
And
But
not
it'll
only
come
do they
back
get
for
away
it.
with it, they then get another error on top of their first error.
Of course, remembering our referees don't have the benefit of the lovely footage we have today, provided by Ctas.
All the replays will be available for them tomorrow, along with our fans as well. And they can go to aucklandrugbyleague.co.nz and pick that up off our ARL TV channel. Not just this match, but all the matches for the whole of the 2018 season.
So Kelly feeds the scrum now, blindside play, they're going to go down the left-hand edge now. Tafotu shows it up, goes himself. There's the try, and it's as simple as that. Calls for a knock-on at the end of it. We're going to wait for confirmation, but it's all good. It is indeed a try, and it's just lovely work there from Lape Tafotu. Let's take a look at the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup replay. You can see there Kelly always looking out that side of the field. And then the switch play comes on. Tafotu at that point there just stands his marker up. The little juggle enough.
Put his hands on his head, number 15. He knew, I think the bobble probably stood him up. And then he just put the turbo gas jets on and boom, in that far right-hand corner.
So the topsy-turvy nature of this clash continues now as Bay Roskill take a 4-point lead, kick to come. Numerous changes of lead throughout this match. The momentum sways from side to side.
Just trying to earwig on the old trainer's chat there. He's talking about keeping them nice and straight in the first part of the sets as they go up and then look to shift. I think they're trying to suck in the Otara defenders.
Kelly to attempt the conversion from well out wide. Strikes it okay, but just away to the left. So score remains Bay Roskill Vikings 24, the Waterview Laundromat Otara Scorpions 20. 18 minutes to play here at Walker Park. The first game of our doubleheader today. Just about an hour away from kickoff in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership match. The Rip Roosters on the line. Point Chevalier taking on the Northcote Tigers. Scorpions get us back underway. Tutaki back on the field now. The veteran back into it. That's a good carry. Takes it forward there. John O'Weir looking for that quick play of the ball now. They want to get things moving. Ctas. Weir goes left edge now. Chioneth Henry hands it off to Moses Ongi. One of their real standouts to start the year. Speaking of Chioneth Henry, he made 47 tackles in the middle of the park last week. Vogel fighting for every little bit he can get. Breaks free. Still going. Boy, he doesn't look all that big, does he? But he's powerful.
Yeah, a bit upper body strength there.
Weir to Kelly. Kelly spins the ball wide now. This is good from the Vikings. Kelly backs up, gets the ball. Henry shows, goes, sticks his nose through. Great late offload, and John O'Weir's put it down. Look out, because now Johnny Henry's onto the ball. Brings it back there, runs 20, untouched. End-to-end stuff here at Walker Park. It's exciting rugby league.
They need to build a bit of pressure here. They need to complete the set of 6. We're at 2.
Tutaki coming in to finish off around the legs. Halani back onto the field. That's a great carry from the captain. And he gets the penalty at the end of it. Great work from the Scorpions.
Lying on the play, was that all the score?
It's a bit hard to tell, wasn't it? But the end result is back-to-back sets coming up from the Scorpions here. Can they hit back? Can they tie it up? Just minutes after Bay Roskill took the lead. Tap and go, Blucher. Arman. Still driving the legs, Arman.
Look for a big man coming in off that right edge, off the outside the backs. Here he is. No.
Lehman hands it off to Vaasa. Taken down. This is good defence from Bay Roskill. How long can they hold on for? Stays on the play of the ball as long as he can there. Lehman's going to jump out of dummy half. 3 under him. He's going to be held up. Short of the line is the call. Watch for the dart. It's a sloppy play of the ball.
Yeah, they weren't really sure what they were going to do there.
Last tackle. Thinks about heading back in, gets a flick pass out the back. That is a terrible play from the Scorpions. Everyone's offside. And they're going to be a penalty. Boy, that is terrible game management, really. The ball had to come back towards the middle of the park. They end up doing a kick there where I think all but one player, the kicker, was offside. So that is not what they needed there, the Scorpions. A little breakdown.
I think it all started from that play the ball. No one was sure about who was going into dummy half of their own course. Good kick.
Mamia brings Ongi in. That's a great hit. Dave Ezekiela, the veteran middle forward, Notahu Jr. Boy, he was on song with that hit. Where? Tutaki with the juggle. And that's a bad mistake. He knows it too. Very disappointing. Wasn't much in it there. Troy perhaps just took the eyes up a little bit to look at the contact there, and ball comes out.
Probably bounced off his huge peck.
He is a big human being indeed. On a field full of giants today.
Great haircut though. Get ready to set the scrum, and Otara get to mount a wee bit more pressure again.
Now Fahu just short of halfway now. Blucher, who's been pretty good out on this left edge today. Ball comes loose. Was there a hand in there? Knock on is the call. Blucher's appealing. And it was a 50-50 one, wasn't it? Could have gone either way there.
I'd probably put some of that down to the commentary of the kiss of death from Corey.
He's back. He's back.
No, he's been a strong campaigner all day as Blucher, and shame about Corey telling you how much good work he was doing just before the impact, and bobbled the ball as we get ready for a set the scrum. A lot of chat going on with the Otara side. And it'll be interesting now to see what the Vikings do with it.
Henry brings the outside back. Kaliopasi in for a little bit of work.
Another big settle. He tracks a few defenders, doesn't he?
He does indeed. Pretty solid in limited minutes. Ongi.
Oh, the ball's coming up. They've kept it alive.
Second phase here. They want more points to Bay Roskill. Kelly. Tutaki. Dummies. Goes straight ahead. Blucher, good up top. Weir. Henry. Short ball to Ongi. Wants the offload. Not going to get on that occasion. Weir. Spins that ball wide now. Mamia goes to the line. Cutter. Puts Mackenzie Cutter through the gap. You're not going to stop him there. And that is great play there from the number 6, Jerome Mamia. Let's take a look on the replay. It starts with a good carry there. You see Henry playing Ongi at the line. Was met in pretty solid contact there.
Did well to tie up the two defenders, give them the opportunity just on that left, because the big guy went through untouched.
It's a great ball out of dummy half as well, Troy. You see here, John O'Ware really gets the body behind it.
Whipped it.
And then from there, Mamea just sums it up nicely. Look at that. The big human being hanging out there on the edges says, I'll go straight through. And Mamea says, we got you that time, guys.
And by the time he gets back to the club tonight, that's going to be a 30-metre strike. Way, way out. Not right up close to the try line. Great try by the big fella.
So it takes it up to a 2-score gap as we enter the final 10 minutes. I can see in the background there, that looks like potentially a famous face. It may be Jerome Ropati sitting in the back there watching his boys.
Good to see the families down here today. Nice strike.
Second one of the day off the uprights. So score remains 28 points to 20. The Bay Roskill Vikings ahead of the Waterview Laundromat Otara Scorpions. And the curtain raiser here today from Walker Park. If you are just tuning in, we are now less than an hour away from kickoff in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership match between the Point Chevalier Pirates and the Northcote Tigers.
I think from their halftime chat from the Bay Roskill Vikings, they were talking about going more direct, and they've certainly worked their bench well, Corey. You know, they brought a lot of size off that, and they're certainly straightening up their attack. They're just getting straight into the teeth of it.
Tutaki takes it forward now. Ware back to the middle of the park. Remembering they've got about 13 frontline players out injured right now, this Bay Roskill team as well, so they've had to call on players from everywhere. John O'Paul even joked pre-match that they'd invited all the players' neighbours to come and play today. Tafutu now straightens up.
Great run.
Oh, this is beautiful stuff here now. They come onto this left edge. There's space here. Vogel holds it up. Vogel's going to skin them on the outside. That's a great try. And it is Corey Vogel who finishes it off. It could have been any of the three players, Lumi and support there, who got the try, but Troy, you mentioned that some of the second phase from the Bay Roskill team, beautiful to watch. They get things going. Let's take a look at the replay now. Tafutu gets the late offload out the back. Mamia, the presence of mind there. And then from here, Vogel, well, he's got his brother in support. Says, I'll take it on my own. Runs it around and makes the kick a little easier as well. So you get the feeling that may be the try that maybe gets Bay Roskill home here. That gives them a pretty handsome lead heading into the final 8 minutes.
I don't want to make a comment on that, Corey. So we'll soon see. Otara in a management meeting over the far side there. And it's all been one-way traffic, especially in the last 10 to 15 minutes. You know, the big boys have certainly gone direct for the Bay Roskill Vikings. So the kick at goal is waved away.
And it is away, so it remains a 2-score game. So very much still alive for the Otara Scorpions if they're good enough.
Clock starts to play a part in this now, and that becomes a wee bit of an enemy for them outside of the opposition that they're running up against.
Lehman goes high and short. It's gone the 10. And that's great work there from Lehman.
They bounce on the 10. They need to get in the D.
Uluulu picks it up here. So huge play now. He's given his team a real sniff at this one. A try here completely changes things. Pomari to Tierra. Pomari, a little double pump. In the end goes short to Ezekiela. Pomari. Up to this right edge now, Lehman. The ball is loose. Vaasa puts it down. And it breaks down there for the Scorpions. Another good carry there, out of trouble from Jerome Vogel. Time is off here. We've got an issue somewhere on the field, perhaps an injured player. That's one of the Scorpions boys who looks a little worse for wear. So Bay Roskill won't mind this break at all. Gives them a chance to just have a little discussion, calm things down and really ice this game here. They're in control. So should they come through with the victory, Bay Roskill will remain undefeated at the top of the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup ladder. 4 teams undefeated coming into this round.
Can you recollect who they had in the first couple of rounds? Vikings?
Just trying to think. Certainly I know the Scorpions had a pretty tough start to the year, taking on Ponsonby.
Right.
In round 1, had a good win there, and then Ellerslie the following week. And actually, Bay Roskill, they took on Ellerslie in round 1. Had a really good win there, and then took on the Northern Brothers last week, Troy. So I guess a mixed sort of start to the season for them. Where hands off to Henry.
I'm just going to say, if you're wondering who the Northern Brothers are, It's a amalgamated team for this season in the Sharman Cup. East Coast Bays and Glenfield. And I think Navy's rolled up into that as well.
That's a
Nice
fantastic kick. That is a fantastic kick at this point of the game. Into touch. Let that clock keep rolling.
Yeah, the boys are happy they're walking down there, especially the defence line of the Vikings. Getting ready to storm the castle.
Do stay with us post-match, ladies and gentlemen. Almost immediately after full-time, we'll be talking to the respective captains of these two teams, get their take on how the game went before we move into our build-up for the main game. The SAS Foxmore Premiership clash between Point Chevalier Pirates and Northcote Tigers. So Scorpions now to pack down the scrum. And it's getting to now or never time for the Scorpions. We've seen they've got some real attack in them. And when things get going, they are lethal. They need to find something pretty quickly. Boy, John O'Weir's been good for Bay Roskill, hasn't he, Troy? At dummy half there, just adds a real calm, professional touch to this team.
Yeah, not flustered. He certainly knows how to drive the boys around the park. And I think he's used the bench really, really well from the call at half-time about going more direct and, you know, picking up his players and sending them straight down the guts.
Ezekiela there cops a shot.
Really looking forward to the 2:30 game too, Corey. That 2:30 matchup's just going to be fantastic to watch, and it's going to be good.
But Asa gets the late offload away, but it's good scramble defence. Balls come loose. Play on is the call. Lehman now dancing around, looking for an offload. Taking the ground just over halfway. Last tackle. Spin it wide. Ball goes high. Contested. Tapped back by Uluulu. Picked up by Tierra. Ball is loose now. And that might be the story of the day for the Otara Scorpions there. Ball comes loose.
Just on that, yeah, so just saying earlier about that matchup 2:30, like it's going to be a massive clash, and, you know, the Dylan Moses piece coming into that, ex-Point boy coming back with Northcote Tigers. It's going to be interesting to see. They're coming off the momentum of last week's win, Northcote, up against Point Chev. So don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be proving to be shaping up to be a boomer.
So we're to Kenneth Henry. I think Henry's played the full 80 minutes once again this week. He was fantastic last week. I mentioned almost 50 tackles. Vogel plays at the line now. Takes them up over the 40. So have they got further points in them? Poor pass out of dummy half. Adams Porpata. Mamia goes to the line, dribbles a little kick in behind. The chase is good from Vogel. Chase is very good and pins him in goal. Not much they could do about that there, the Otara Scorpions. Bay Roskill finishing this game off like the champion side. We know they are. Beaten grand finalists in the last 2 years. Perhaps in some respects, I guess, the unluckiest team in Auckland. But the impressive thing, Troy, they've done it with rapidly changing rosters each year, you know, which says a lot, I think, about the culture at the club.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've always shown class, you know, throughout the seasons that they've played. They've been great to work with and great to deal with. And and that's a great hit. That's a full stop. Is he getting up? Yep, bouncing up onto his feet. Yeah, away we go.
Tough cookie, Moses Ongi. Of course, through the God Squad system here at Bay Roskill, they've had some wonderful players come through. And also some wonderful former professional players. Oh. There's another huge hit, boy. Turning it on now are the Scorpions. Henry now dinks a little ball back into the top. This is nice stuff. John O'Weir. Are they about to put the icing on the cake here? Bay Roskill, Mamia, just around the ankles there. It was a poor pass. Drops the ball, but it's not going to matter.
They're in the right part of the field, aren't they, to wind the clock off, the Vikings?
Just back to what we were saying about Bay Roskill, obviously, you know, some of the juniors they've brought through in recent years. Of course, Bill Tupou went on to play NRL football. Ben Henry as well, who's back playing for the club this year, of course, had that horror run with injuries. It was a real shame to see Ben Henry basically forced to retire. A former Kiwi international and achieved a lot in his very young career. But some other players that have come through and played for this club, the like of Jerry Siosiu, who is still involved at the club in a coaching capacity. So they've had some real quality. And we touched on it earlier, it's also a real family club. Families have stayed at this club for, in some cases, 3 generations.
Generations, yeah. Great break. Oh, no, just going to piggyback him up the field. Nice little run out to a 30.
So the Scorpions, they've fought valiantly today. All credit to them. It has been close for the majority. It's only late on that Bay Roskill have pulled away. Halani takes the ball forward. That's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So it is the Bay Roskill Vikings who win this one, 32 points to 20 over the Waterview Laundromat Otara Scorpions. Bay Roskill remain at the top of the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup ladder, undefeated, a perfect 3 from 3. An entertaining game here to open the live streaming action from Walker Park. We're now going to take a very short break before we hear from the respective captains of the Bay Roskill Vikings and the Otara Scorpions. Back in a minute.
Live League